Hey everyone, today we are arriving on scene to a culvert blockage that hasn't really been a problem in almost 2 years. We used to come here and unclog this thing probably every couple weeks, but the beavers were relocated and it hasn't been a problem in almost 2 years. But suddenly today on my rounds, I noticed driving by, you can already see the water to my left, and especially up here to my left, the water was noticeably higher, so I had to get out of the vehicle and take a look at it. The first time we ever discovered it, they had a Beaver deceiver unit in the water, which works for a while, but Beaver is eventually smart enough to what it is and clog it up anyways after chewing holes through it. Part of the old Beaver deceiver is right over here. They threw it in the woods. I don't know what happened to the rest of it. Maybe people took the pipe or reused it, but we're gonna park right here. Nice parking spot. And we're gonna go and show you guys what we got going on. So right in front of where I parked is the old Beaver deceiver. The way this thing works is you have a pipe coming out with a T. It has a whole bunch of openings that let water in. Supposedly it's supposed to not make a lot of noise. The beavers don't understand it at first, and they don't bother with it. But they chewed holes in it, and they filled it, and you can still see some of their debris. What happened to the rest of it, I really don't know. There's going to be probably zero traffic on this road unless someone's exploring and turning around. It's not tourist season yet, but up this road about 4 miles, completely washed out. We discovered and marked it a few weeks ago. Didn't have any marking tape, so I improvised, but back there they have since put up more aggressive ribbons and stuff up. It even says the state of Maine provided the signs that the logging company is using, probably because this road, despite it being maintained and owned by a logging company, it's used by other things. Companies use it, ATVs are allowed to use it. But I noticed this water was a little bit higher than usual. I could see a few pieces of grass underwater, stuff that wouldn't have grown like that. And you see over here all this debris. A lot of that's just grass and stuff that the beavers probably cut, and it just got kind of stuck all along the shore. But every other time the beavers had built a dam right here on the end that we were able to see. But not this time. This time the beavers built down inside, and this water has a lot of leeches in it. I don't see any now, but in years past there's always been a lot. Whoa, that silt is deeper than it looked. But look at this, blocking almost half the pipe. That's a very, very thick dam. It's got like 4 feet of girth to it. It's a very strong one. And they could easily build onto it if we had a rainstorm that started sending more water. So back when we used to do this, that's all our debris right there. I'm hoping that we can get this thing moving, and it looks like there's enough water. Once we get it free a little bit, it should be able to push out just like that thing and get stuck right there with another wall of water. So first we want to go down and just take a look at what we're dealing with. I already got my big high boots on because I've been doing this kind of stuff all day, going inside different pipes. This pipe's in pretty good shape. Yeah, pretty big dam. This stuff that's right here, this should eventually get pushed out by itself with the current. So yeah, that's a pretty big beaver dam. All right, I'm gonna go get some gloves on, and we haven't used it in a while. I gotta get my magnetic tripod, and we'll put camera number 2 on a normal tripod at the exiting end. All right, everyone, so this is what I rigged up, and this is what we'll be using today. I'll put my camera number 1 into this. It's got this cool bracket, which we can move around to any angle with a magnet that can just stick onto the metal pipe. Pretty nice. And I'm thinking about putting a trail camera up, even though I might not be back to this area for a few weeks. I doubt here in the middle of nowhere anyone's going to steal it. So we'll leave it here for a little while, and sometime we'll make a trip back up to get it. Don't know if I'll include that in this video or not, but oh yeah, I already forgot earlier today I actually broke part of the rake. It'll work for today, but I'm gonna have to get another one of these. I'm honestly surprised it broke like that. Usually this thing just starts falling off and you got to put a screw through it. That is, if you don't lose the end of it. I actually got this thing last year after breaking one. I got this for $7, and the store clerks said, oh, I didn't even know we had any of those left. Those are pre-COVID prices, but it was marked as it, so he sold it to me for that price. I think I'm also going to use another magnetic tripod for extra lighting in there. All right, everyone, so we got camera number 2 going at the moment. I put it way up here on high ground because this expected to get pretty high if we get this thing fully open. And I don't see why not. It is the toughest blockage I've ever got at the location, but we have much more water than I think we need to get it moving. All right, so let's get the headlamp on. This is a pretty bright one. I love these headlamps. Not sponsored in any way, but I will leave a link if anyone's interested in them. They last actually hours on high. I love doing yard work with them at night, and it's amazing how long they go for the price, and they're rechargeable. You don't have to take batteries in and out all the time. And this is going to become a cramped working area pretty fast. All right, so I think we're going to put our light in here like that. Things all the way up on high, correct? Yeah, you guys want the more white light, up to 100%. And we're going to flip you guys onto the ceiling like that. Adjust everything. Oh my gosh, there's so many mosquitoes in here. I'm not going back outside, but I am going to regret not soaking myself in bug spray, which I did think about, but I didn't think it was going to be that big of a problem. And guess what dumb me did? I gotta walk outside because the rake cannot turn around in this tight pipe. Alright, coming back in. This might take a while to get some flow. Ooh, a mosquito landed right on the lens for you guys to see. Very fresh. Look at this stuff these beavers chew. Wow, this thing looks like heavy machinery did it. It's so packed. Wow. This long thing might get stuck. This is like a 10-footer. They were determined with this one, I tell you. So I'm just going to keep throwing it right behind me. Eventually we should build enough, or we should get enough of it here, which isn't being really structurally secured. Like if you notice, all these sticks are angled down into the corrugation, into the rocks. But once we get a good amount of them, all this pile I'm throwing behind the camera should be able to come out fairly easy. Just gonna have to do this for a little while. And the flow should be able to push everything out. Now, as you've heard me say in the past, beavers do not reuse material, but as you're seeing, a lot of this is old. If things are floating in their pond, they'll use it, but they won't come back out onto the water to grab things that they know came from their old dam because they think it's just going to fail again. The beaver doesn't understand that you're the one who took it out. It just understands that it failed somehow. And I'm just now realizing that I forgot my gloves. Oh well. We're in the middle of nowhere. Not too worried about getting into anything. Legs are already getting tired. I think I'm going to start kneeling into here. That's a relief. Haven't done one like this in a while. Hopefully this big debris is only on the end, and I'm hoping I'm getting to the end of it now. I'm hoping this is not how the entire dam is constructed. It's usually not the case, but sometimes. Beavers always build back stronger. This was a big beaver, which is weird. Like I said, they got relocated and they didn't cause any problems for 2 years. So I guess a big beaver just moved in. Usually when you get a new beaver at a location, it's a young one that got kicked out of their parent swamp. And usually a small beaver can't move things as big, and they're just not as good as building. But I can tell this was built by a pretty experienced beaver. Built very well. And this is why, I don't know about this company, but sometimes they try to relocate beavers, because this is a very good dam building animal. They're great for water storage, great for drought. And during drought, their ponds become retention, stops downstream flooding. Beaver ponds are very heavy. It recharges the aquifer as it pushes things down. Pushes the water down into the earth, I should say. Beneficial animals. They're worth millions of dollars a piece in their water storage. All right, I love dams like this. So these big pieces that you pull right out are actually weakening the dam because they go all the way through. But sometimes you encounter a dam that's old. When this thing starts settling, it becomes stronger. If this dam was here a couple years, some of these things I wouldn't be pulling out. I'd have to go from the top down, which is a pain in the butt. I better kneel while I have the chance. Once we get water flowing in here, it's going to be going pretty fast, and this area is also going to temporarily flood a little bit until it gets the power to push that pile out, which I'm hoping shows up really good on camera too. This is very heavy, nasty, and rotten, and I see a spider friend on it. Heavy log. Here's a tree stump with a root ball. We've gone maybe a third of the way through the dam. I'm not going to start taking it down from the top yet because it's still got too much structural strength, and I'm just going to flood my working area sooner than I need to. Now, this pipe does not have a dangerous amount of water behind it. The most dangerous thing that would happen in this situation while I'm working is I'm here like this, and it starts moving and tries to go over me. But you gotta be able to walk over the top of the dam as it starts moving, if that's the case. I feel like this is gonna be one that I'm gonna have to probably get on the other side of it and start pushing it. And once it starts moving, there's no stopping it. Hopefully it's that kind of scenario. That's what I'm hoping for. I like that we're starting to run out of big sticks. I just want to quickly turn you around because I want you to see what we already got out of there. Look at this. Pretty decent pile. Probably, considering the ones that are waterlogged, we probably got a couple 100 pounds out of here so far. Let's get back in there again. Now we'll maybe start raking. Try to get more of this apart. We exposed a little bit more. Let's throw it back behind me. Thankfully the mosquitoes aren't being that big of a hassle. I'm moving around too much. I don't think they can really land on me that well. But some mosquitoes are so aggressive. I've had ones in Maine. They somehow land on you when you're running. I hate when those come out. I don't know how many types of mosquitoes do I even have in this area? I don't know. Because I know some are bigger than others. Well, I thought that was a yellow jacket at first. Just a loud humming fly. I hear a bird outside in the pond laughing at me. Or maybe he's warning me of an oncoming beaver attack. Ew, slimy. Yeah, these beavers did a lot here. This thing wasn't here in the fall. All right, let me back up a little bit. excavate a little more before we start digging into the structure. You know, this road a couple years ago washed out. That's why they removed the beavers. They didn't want that happening again, but the beavers are back. I think we're going to start opening some water. Water's more powerful than you seem. You know, even though I've done this hundreds of times before, it amazes me every time how powerful the water is. I got so much debris here in the pipe. It's just amazing how it can just take it away suddenly. That. They did a great job packing this mud. You know something I'm embarrassed to say? I don't personally know. You know how beavers use their tails in cartoons to pack mud? That's fake, isn't it? I think it is. But I'm embarrassed to say I'm not sure. Mosquitoes are starting to bite me. I don't know if water moving is going to make this better or worse, but now that I'm picking through the mud, the mosquito issue is getting a lot worse. These guys are getting very angry. Now it's probably going to start getting loud in here. You guys won't even be able to hear much of me rambling on anymore. Let's see if I can get water going by me and keep my knees dry at the moment. Once I get a good flow, I'm going to try to get on the back side of the dam. Mosquitoes. Oh, that's a big log. And rocks. We're building pressure against that pile now, and my butt is wet. I'm probably going to flood my boots. That pile's probably going to start moving. It's pretty dry. It's going to float. Another pile of debris. This is all going to let loose at some point. I'm flooding my boots. move. As we loosen up more, it's getting stuck, pushing harder. Come on, pile, move! Come on, I see you slipping. Oh, it's moving! That's gonna look awesome on camera too! Whoa! Awesome! Oh, I swallowed a fly! Giant log coming! I can't believe it, there's still about 20% of it. My legs are hurting so bad in here. The silt is caked all the way to the end. There's a damn long-legged spider in here. Try to push some of it. I'm not stopping until it's gone. Oh, did it again. Amazingly, I did not flood my boots. And as you guys can probably tell, this water is deeper than it should be. We gotta break up a blockage at the end. You see where it's all going? Once we do that, there'll be more current in here. Then we'll go back and remove the final 10% of the dam. But first, let's completely get out of here. Then we'll work on this from the outside. This is gonna be hard to walk over. So little headroom. Just walking through it, I think I'm loosening up some of it. Totally. Oh. And the debris from last year is not helping it back up either. Let's shut off camera number 2 and we'll clean up the downstream area to get more flow in the pipe. Then we'll go back in the pipe from the other side and complete that work. Camera number 2 going at the moment. I put it way up here on high ground because this expected to get pretty high if we get this thing fully open. Whoa! Awesome! All right, let me try to clear up a little bit of this. That was very easy to break that free because the beavers didn't put it together. It's just there. One of the sticks stood up like a bar. It's It's hard to get out. Really? Wow. There we go. Look at that, everything's moving. We now got maximum flow through the pipe. So we're gonna go back in on the other side and get it all out of there. Look at this, this is so much fun. You can push this giant pile with barely any effort. Look at how dirty this is. It's eroding what I was working on. Who knows, maybe I'll have nothing to do by the time I get back in there. That'd be awesome. My legs are pretty sore, and I'm kind of dehydrated from doing all that. And talking the whole time did not help. Let's see how much I can help with this part. Not a priority though. Problem solved. The debris is no longer causing a backup to the pipe. And when the pipe is back to normal operating depth, it won't be backing up anything. This is a plunge pool. This right here is naturally a barrier of it, if you know what I mean. That's not why this is higher, the debris anymore. What you see it trickling over is a man-made barrier for the plunge pool. All right, took a little break. Now that I've been out for like 5 minutes, I'm starting to realize I have a lot of mosquito bites that are gonna become very itchy. All right, now we have a good amount of suction. Look at that. This pond's losing a lot of water. And if this is a primary beaver pond, believe me, they already know about this. They can sense it immediately that it's getting lower. But who knows, maybe it's a secondary pond. They've never been that proactive. Wow, look at that. You can see debris. You see that white rock? I can see debris rushing over it. It's creating quite the undertow out here, sucking all kinds of stuff in. Now, right now, we can feel the bottom of the pipe. I couldn't feel that when I left the pipe before. So it has eroded and done a lot of the work itself. So maybe I won't have to do too much. There's a lot of spiders on the ceiling. Let me position you. I'm gonna just make sure it's completely gone by dragging the rake in here a little bit. It is, it's gone. There's just a little bit of gravel in here. Yeah, completely gone. And you see the mud? The dam was up to here. See the mud marks? Pretty cool. I wonder where the beaver will build the dam next. This is why beaver structures are a thing. It's much more difficult to get to the blockage in the middle than if it were on the end. They usually build it on the end though. It's easiest. They probably began this when the flow was very little. There's no way a beaver could stop what's going through here now. I actually have a video, my very first trail cam video of a beaver this year. Haven't posted it yet as of today, but the beaver kept trying and trying dozens of times throughout the night. The beaver would build a little something, get taken by the current. Build a little more, got taken. All right, 100% open, we did good. I think I might grab a trail camera, possibly. We'll leave it in there and I'll come back and retrieve that at some point. But I'm not staying in this area for a while, so I'm not gonna just pick it up in one day. It'll probably be out here for a while, which is probably a good thing. History has told me with this pipe. One time I left it a month, beaver didn't even show up. Wow, this river is flooding its banks. Look at it, it's all going in there. Pretty awesome. Based on the size of the pond, and who knows how old the satellite images are, this will be back down to its depth by tonight. It's definitely good water drawdown. Because even if the beaver completely managed to plug it tonight, you saw how little was coming out of here. There's not much supplying this pond. So it would take weeks or some massive rainstorms to get back up to this depth. This whole road here pushed out 2 years ago. You can still see some of the debris and gravel all over the forest. I hope today's video was interesting, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a great night. Oops, we only have one trail camera on us, and yeah, this thing's dead. When a trail camera has a battery that low, it's unlikely it'll even work. Can't get them all. Oh well. Maybe next trip out, we'll get another. Well, that's a shame not getting a camera out there for the beavers, but at least I don't have to think about when I'm going to come back out here. Well, that happened because that camera's been in the car for probably 2 months. When I put it in here, it was charged. Because anything I use, I don't put back in the camera box. I put it out separately to make sure it gets charged when I get home. And I guess the cold weather just may have done that. Or I made a mistake and put a dead one back in the box, one or the other. It happens sometimes. And who knows, the beaver may not even show up again to this place. Last time it was secondary, and they went months without even showing up when they were still active before the trapping. Yep, that's only a foot from touching the edge of the road. They always build them like that on purpose. They want it to cross the road before it would cross over the top of the pipe, because they can easily, with dump trucks and a grader, fix the road. Now, if the pipe washes out and is lost into the woods, they're unlikely going to go get that unless it's right near the road where it would probably get caught. But if the pipe wasn't salvageable, now they got to get a new pipe, and that takes a lot more to put in than just filling in the road. It has to be properly put in, properly pitched, properly compacted. You just quadrupled the price of fixing the road than if it's just able to pass over a nearby part without causing an impact to the pipe. Or in bridges, in some cases, they'll do the same kind of thing. The bridge will be the highest point of the road where the river's going under. They purposely build it high so it doesn't take out an expensive bridge. It'll take out the road somewhere else. Look at this. Today's the 23rd of May, and it's beautiful. Look at these flowering trees as we go around the corner. It's very nice. 69 degrees right now. I just found this really beautiful camping spot right here. Nice and flat. You could set up some tents. They got a sign saying not to kindle any fires, but you don't have to have a fire to go camping. You can always bring like a gas stove if you're going to cook something. Although somebody's apparently not listening, or that could be just very old, because that sign looks pretty new. That's a very new sign. Anyways, I've never been here before. This is upstream from what we just unclogged. This is a giant beaver pond, and this is probably where they live. This is probably their primary pond that we never visited before. There's a giant beaver dam right there. Then this water leads into the swamp that we are now drawing back. 10-time optical zoom. That's not even a beaver dam. It's just a giant tree with some debris. But this is what's flowing into that next area. And this would make sense why beavers don't always show up. Beavers just simply wouldn't notice the water going down if this is where they typically are.